Yeah, I'm certain I've been here before, and I don't know why it's not on the app. Uh-oh, it doesn't like again that I brought the battery level down low, unless the computer's acting up. Here the fan's ramping up. It only says 1 kilowatt though. I don't want to ever go below 13, and I did. Hey everybody, it's Mike and Denise, and I am adigitalnomad.net, that's the channel. We are working out of the car, as many of you know, and we have run into a lot of problems recently, but I think I finally found a solution. Denise was ready to give up, right Denise?
Yeah, I was ready to fly home.
Yeah, because basically we discovered that, yeah, all the services now, the wireless services now with 5G being ubiquitous, they limit your streaming or your constant data rate. It doesn't have to be streaming because she's on a VPN to a certain amount, most of which is 4 megabits per second, which is barely adequate for Denise. So I developed a system that uses our amplifier that we have, and we got a second ISP, and we have 2 ISPs going into one router in the car. So now we just pull our services off of the router. So we have one called Tesla Model X. So if you're driving down the road and you see one called Tesla Model X, that's our router. It's going to broadcast in a wide range. It's a home router, actually. So I'm going to show you the setup for everything and how it goes. So let's look under the seat first, because we're at a supercharger right now, and I can show you without having to disconnect the charger. All right, so here we are at the supercharger. Here's our cooler, and basically all of the important stuff that you see in your house normally is under the seat, because I got the 5-seat Model X, so we've got a lot of room. So what you can see under here are actually 2 different routers. Let's get this junk out of the way. This is our hotspot box. But we've got 2 routers. You see them? Let's talk about this first. My phone that I'm actually recording on right now is my old Verizon grandfathered plan. So they're going to give me, no matter what, they've kind of morphed it into what's there today, which is I'm unlimited non-throttle, but they also have put the bandwidth limit on me. So I get 4 megabits per second bandwidth limit, but it'll never drop below that. Okay, that's what you got to know. A lot of the newer plans will drop below that. They'll go to like less than 1 megabit per second, which really is horrible. We would never be able to survive on that. But we've got this router, all of the lights are green. What this does is it connects to my phone. I use client mode in here. It connects to my phone, it takes a signal off of my broadcast hotspot and turns it into a wired connection with the white cable, and the white cable goes right into a traditional router, although it's not your traditional router. You can see where the router is down here. It's a Tenda router. So this thing cost me like, I don't know, $25, less than $30 for this. It's not expensive. This is a load balancing router. It's not a normal router. Okay, there you can see what it is. It's a load balancing router. Now, usually these are like $800 to $1,000 and way more, because they're designed for enterprise use. And this is an enterprise router, believe it or not. But what this one does is it can convert. See, it's got like 4 ports. The first one, number 1, is actually a WAN port for input, and numbers 2 and 3, and I think maybe even 4, but at least 2 and 3 are either LAN or WAN. See, it says LAN/WAN. It doesn't come set up as LAN, or it doesn't come set up as WAN. It comes set up as LAN. So they're basically outputs. They're all. You got one port over here on the left, which is an input. And if you don't know what LAN and WAN is, I sometimes mix them up, like left and right. But a WAN is an input. So an input. So you got an ISP inputting into number 1. 2, 3, and 4 are outputs. But you can change 2 and 3 and 4, and I changed 2 to also be an input. So I've actually got 2 ISPs. I got the cabled thing from my phone, and then the other cable is actually a straight off cable from our new AT&T box, which I'll show you, which is also hooked up to our signal booster. So that's a constant ongoing hotspot, and I can pull a cable right off it. So we got 2 cabled ISPs going into this router, and it does load balancing. So instead of getting a maximum of 4 megabits per second, which we're only getting when the signal is perfect, because you know AT&T and Verizon are not everywhere, the signal's not perfect. Now we have both AT&T on the left and Verizon on the right, and we get more than 4 megabits per second constantly, all the time. as long as the connections are maintained. So let me show you where the AT&T router is. So we got all these antennas. Well, not AT&T. I'll show you where the AT&T box is. We will close the door here. But that's our setup, all underneath the seat. Hopefully that makes sense for you. Give me some comments or questions if you're not sure how this is set up. But this is the way to do it. If you're driving mobily, if you're working remotely, this is the only way to do it in the world. I don't even know if anybody even has a setup like this. And Denise didn't even think this was gonna work, right?
No.
You did not think it was gonna work, and you were like, seriously, it was over. And I said, we're not quitting. We're not quitting. We're gonna get this thing done. And I think it worked, right?
Yeah, I was just confused because you said, do you think you can hook up 2 different internet service providers at the same time? And I was thinking of, you know, my Ethernet port right here. There's only one of them, right? But I never thought about how to sneak 2 ISPs.
Yeah, it's an enterprise level. It's an enterprise level router. It only costs like $35 though. That one, that Tenda, $35. Usually it's thousands of dollars, and they're designed for giant businesses and office buildings, right? Because if one line goes down, the whole office building can't go down. So you got to have redundancy in your internet service providers.
I never knew that wide area network was your input.
Yeah, WAN is the input, LAN is the output. Is that right? I got it right? I think so.
Yeah.
Like lefty loosey, righty tighty, something like that.
That was awesome. Certification from Compliment.
Oh.
I'm actually certified Network Plus.
And you didn't know that?
No, I paid $150 for that certification.
Okay.
Right.
I'm sorry, I should make my own mobile in-vehicle multiple ISP enterprise level load balancing certification. Since we're the only ones doing this, I don't think anyone even is doing this. Okay, over here, let's see if I unbury everything. This is our AT&T box. See that? AT&T underneath my pears, my organic pears. That's the box, and then right underneath of that, see it's the cables coming straight out of it. Right underneath that is our little paddle. There it is, for the signal booster, and the antenna for that is in the trunk. I'll show you where that is. Actually, I'll show you where the amplifier is too. And we have all these power strips. And actually, I gotta put a third power strip in, which I'm gonna do right now. But this just hangs out here, and I just kind of watch the charge level. When you tap on this, you can see what the charge level is, and I'm charging right now. And it only needs to be charged once every like day and a half, which is nice. We're finding that out. But let me go back in the trunk now and show you what's there. So back in the trunk, with all of our luggage here, the antenna, see it's cabled in here. The actual antenna is down in our basement, which is down in here. It goes down in here. I'll show it to you. All right, this is actually the antenna part, and you can stick it on the outside of the car. You're supposed to, but I'm not. And you have to be at least, I think, almost 7.5, 8 feet away at the minimum, which we are. Keeping that up in the front of the car. It's got to be that the paddle has to be kept against the device like you saw it was, and up in the front of the car. You have to give a certain number of distance, and we can check to make sure everything's okay by showing the amplifier. I'll show you that in a second here. It's underneath where the other components are. I'm going to put the new power strip in anyway. Oh, doesn't quite fit. Like, that's normal for us. We make it fit. So we are back under the seat again. You see that green light on the red box with the fins? It's the heat dissipation. Well, that is the amplifier for the signal booster, which you definitely are going to need too. So we got all kinds of components running. We got a lot of electrical loads here on the car, but this is all, you got to have the 5-seat bench in order to have all this room to do with the stuff. We also have an extra cable here for diagnostics, or if someone needs a wired connection. And I'm putting this, I'm gonna add another power strip down here. It's actually our old power strip. All right, here is our pure sine wave. It's pure sine wave from Amazon inverter. It's giving us a 120. Here's the one power strip, but I'm gonna pull these blocks off of here. They're gonna go underneath the seat with the sub power strip, basically. And then there's another device here. Where is that? These can you show that turns the booster on and off? It's a red light. You have to turn. It has a separate connection for the. There it is. It's on now, and you can see it was green, so it's working properly. If it wasn't green down here, it would not be working properly, but it is.
This is my booster.
And there's apples in here too. Did you know there's apples?
Yes.
And bananas. This is our produce storage area here
Produce aisle.
in the car. Yeah. All right, so I disconnected them. I'm putting these things underneath the here, out of the way. I gotta make sure it's on, and then we're just gonna run this cord over to this power strip so she has more spaces to use. There, more spaces. Look at this mess underneath the seat. Oh my gosh. All kinds of stuff. All right, so I packed everything back. Nobody has any idea. This is gonna stay up front next to my driver's seat in case I need to connect the computer. One last step now that I've done this, I want to show you how to check to make sure that that my phone is connected to the wireless, what really uses the wireless access point. Okay, I'll show you here. And the client mode anyway. So in order to check, we need to do this on a regular basis, make sure we actually have 2 ISPs and not one. Here's what you have to do. You have to go to your general settings, if I can find them. Am I on there? I was. I'm not. Okay, here. Then we want to turn cellular off. Okay, cellular data is already off. Denise already did that. Wi-Fi not connected. So cellular data needs to be off. Then connect to the car by Wi-Fi. And I name my router Tesla Model X. So we'll connect, it remembers. So then we're only getting data through Tesla Model X. Now we need to log into the other router to determine if we're actually connected on my hotspot. So go to Safari, open up a window. I think I already have one of these. See, there's a speed test. And here is, okay, let's go here to this window. That's linked in. We don't want that. We want TP. It's like a TP link. There it is. tplinkap.net. When you go there, it'll prompt you to log into your router. This is the one that connects to my as a client mode, not a wireless access point. It's just a client mode. So you put your password in, type it in. Okay, then log in. And right when you log in, you'll get a screen that'll show you, because it remembers all the time what you're supposed to be connected to. And look, it says weak, and it gives a MAC address of 0. See, at digitalnomad.net. It remembers it, but we're not connected. This happens a lot with iPhones, I found on the hotspot. So I gotta turn my hotspot off, then turn it back on, which means I have to turn this off for a second, and then recheck it. All right, through the miracle of technology, I just did all that, and you can see we're back at the screen again, where it says weak and the MAC address is 0. That means you got a problem. So we just will hit refresh on this. How do we do refresh? I don't know. Refresh. I just hit go. It'll refresh the page. And what do we got this time? Okay, there we go. We got strong and we got a MAC address. You see that? Now we're connected. Now to verify everything's good, we're gonna run a speed test. I would only run it from fast.com. Don't run it from anywhere else, because anywhere else is not under load. Fast.com is a Netflix service. They put it under a load, like a streaming load. And that's the only thing that really matters when you're actually using your device. Like I said, 5G, they kept saying it's so fast. It's not fast anymore. They have throttled everyone back, even if you're on a non-throttle plan, because they have this streaming limit stuff. So let's go there. Here's the fast.com. Like I said, we're on 4 megabits per second service. So if we have 2 connected, we're always going to be more than 4 megabits per second unless we're in an incredibly awful signal area. So we'll hit refresh, and now it puts it under load. See, now in the past we were getting like 1.5 or below. See, look, it was already at 5. This is because of dual ISPs, both running at the 4 megabits per second rate for streaming. It's putting under, see, we got 5.5. This works. This will work for VPN, but it's the only way that we know of that will actually work for VPN. If you know of a different way, let me know. If you have any questions about the setup, let me know. And this is just the download speed. This is going to be the weakest link, because whenever they put the streaming limits, it's on the download, not the upload. Watch here. We'll watch what our download would be, because just look at the upload. You know, downloads are usually way faster than uploads. Look at this. We're at 43 megabits per second right now. It hasn't finished calculating, but we would have a huge download speed too, consistent with streaming video, because this type of a download speed, if you had that, you could do 4K video, no problem. It's in excess, because 25 megabits per second is what's needed for 4K video. 4 megabits is what's needed for 720p, in case you're wondering. That's what it is. They're stopping you at 720p on most services, and that's assuming that everything else is perfect, and we know it's not. That's why you got to get dual ISPs if you want to work from the car while the car's in motion, and no matter where you go, you need the setup. And it avoids you having to log on to or go into a public area with public Wi-Fi, which is really loud, right? Denise knows that. She's eating lunch now. Denise knows you can't work and talk to people in public areas. It's too damn loud, right? And the only fix we ever found was to park outside of a Wi-Fi that you could actually connect to. But finding those holy grails of spots where you could actually connect to someone else's indoor Wi-Fi and park outdoors in the car and not be in the sun is the other thing in Florida. It's like next to impossible. So this is the best thing. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know, anything you have, any questions you have, and hopefully this helped you guys.
And maybe there'll be more people like us on the road. If you're on the road and doing this, let us know, because we think we're the only ones right now. I'm 100% certain we're the only ones. I've never heard of anybody doing this, but it's what you need to do in 2021 going into 2022. Really, when the pandemic shut everything down, I'd say that it was less people, less throttling. The services weren't doing this, but now that everyone's back, that's what people are doing.
Bye.
Back to work in my sweatshop, in my Tesla sweatshop. You know, people have in recent times called the long-haul truckers and trucks rolling sweatshops. You are in a Tesla rolling sweatshop. This is the first Tesla rolling sweatshop in existence, and I have a feeling that there may be a problem with this once word gets out on how to do this. There may be others. Not good. We have a lot of heat generating appliances here, and this is probably why my air conditioner is just kicked in on overdrive right now.